Hello.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Maybe start from the top. Please introduce yourself.
Yeah, so my name is Etienne Legrain, so I'm a French guy. I think you can hear it. I'm from northwest of France, so from Normandy. And before I did my PhD in Grenoble, so in France too, and now I've moved to Brussels for this project.
Very cool. This is your first time in Antarctica?
Yeah, it's the first time in any polar region, and especially in Antarctica, so yeah, for me it's really like different from what I've done before.
And what were your first impressions of you?
Yeah, my first impression is really that the landscape are really, really big and impressive, because so when you fly from Cape Town, you just fly in a plane without any window, and you land in Antarctica, and somebody just opens the door and say, okay, let's go now, let's work. And you really have this feeling that, yeah, this land is huge, all the landscape are huge, all is white, and with some tiny mountain at the back, and then we move to the station, so we get closer to the mountain. The landscape is really crazy here. Like it's like an alpine region, but with much more snow, much more everything, I would say.
Yeah. What is the research project you're involved with?
Yeah, so my research projects focus on blue ice. So blue ice is a specific kind of ice we find only in Antarctica. So this ice is quite rare because it's only 1% of the surface of Antarctica. So what we have here, like around Princess Elizabeth Station, is quite exceptional, and the location of this station is quite exceptional for this reason. So the advantage of blue ice is that it's ice that was before like lying down near the bedrock, so near the rock below the ice, and that have been pushed up to the surface. And so this ice is quite old, like very old. And usually when you want to drill old ice, you just go to the middle of the ice sheets and you drill a continuous ice core of several kilometers. But it's really time consuming, money consuming, really hard in terms of logistics. And here this very old ice is quite accessible, close to the station. And so you can reach old ice quite easily. So the advantage of reaching old ice means that you can reconstruct climate from the past, like by analyzing this ice. And what we hope to find here specifically is to find ice dated from a period that is as warm as the period expected for the end of the century. So like that we can do quite a kind of an analog for the future climate, but found in the past.
And what do you foresee being the most challenging about carrying out your fieldwork?
Yeah, so the most challenging here in Antarctica is the remoteness, just because here you're far away from everything. So if you have any problem with your instrument of any aspect of your mission, you're quite remote. So here you are in Princess Elizabeth Station, so you can still have the help from the staff here. So it's really useful. But when we will go to the field, we will be alone. And so for any like small problems that can be fixed, like in any other places of the world in 1 hour, here it would be just impossible to fix it just because we don't have the piece. So the most challenging thing is that if we have problem, it's really hard to solve them. And the same kind of mission, you do it everywhere in Europe, is quite an easy mission, but here it's challenging because of this remoteness, these conditions.
Very cool. And have you worked in the past with other people that you're working with yet?
No, it's totally new. So I'm new in the team, so I've been recruited in January. And so we are 4 scientists going to the field, and I've never talked to them before, like January actually. But I think it will be a nice opportunity to get know each other, like in this kind of closed environment, I would say.
And were you always interested in becoming a scientist, or were you in a sense motivated or inspired by a particular event or something like that when you were younger?
No, just that. So nobody in my family is a scientist, so nobody gets a PhD. I was the first one, so it was quite new in my family. And before I was 20, I've never heard about like be a scientist. Like all in my families are, I don't know, teacher or engineer, but no scientists. And so I just went to an engineering school, and then I slowly realized that it was not specifically what I like, but I talked to some teachers, some professors that was very nice, and that told me like they were thinking that because of my profile I was more dedicated maybe to science, and so I slowly start to learn about science, what is science, what scientists do like every day. And finally I realized that all the things you like in science are the thing I like, so I'm curious, I want to learn new things always, I want to discover new things, and all this kind of thing you can do it easily with science.
And if you had one, in a sense, call it like tip or I guess a tip for like a young aspiring scientist or a kid that would like to possibly go in the same direction?
Yeah, just if you're curious, if you like to learn new things, just go to science, because it's really the place where you can learn new things, you can do new things, and you have the freedom to do it. So really, like, if you really feel that you always want to know things, go to science.
Yeah. Cool. And what do you have any like hypotheses or expectations of what you think you might find when you go out and spend a month on the ice doing research?
So we know from satellite images that there is blue ice, but what we don't know is the age of this ice. So our expectation are more or less 1 million years old for the ice. So why 1 million? Because we do preliminary analysis, and now the record for a continuous ice core is 800,000 years, and so the idea is to get ice that is older than this. So some US mission have already found like some snapshot of very, very old ice, several million years, and we try to do the same here, and why not find the oldest ice ever doing on Earth. I think Antarctica is the last place where things are still as it was before, like the human just arrived on this planet. And so what I really want for the future, but maybe just I don't know, it's not feasible, but to stay like that, like to keep just a place on Earth where there is no big or really, really little influence of human on an environment, and like this you can like preserve this place, just preserve this place and do not do what we've done for the rest of the world, but just keep this place like it is now.
Very cool. Well, I wish you all the best on your fieldwork. I appreciate your time. You're my first guinea pig this year interview, so
Nice.
oh yeah, I think hopefully, and it's still filming, so I didn't blow it for once.
Okay, perfect.